Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that are watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. For many years now, Mataji has been pestering me to write a book. And in my busy life and busy schedule, I kept pushing it and giving various excuses to Mataji. But circumstances have brought me to a stage where I think, and you're going to agree with me, those of you that are with me for many years now, that it is absolutely necessary for a comprehensive book on the Guru principle to be authored. You agree?
Yes.
Because around the world, people just don't know the significance and importance of a bona fide spiritual master. So I researched and looked on Google, and you can do that yourself. There is no cover-to-cover explanation by any single bona fide spiritual master on the Guru principle. I could not find anything. I tried from cover to cover of Google. So would something that happened last week and the previous week emanating from Guru Purnima and the lack of information on the Guru principle itself, I'm going to endeavour starting from today, give discourses comprehensively with scriptural injunctions. I'm going to do it like the Constitutional Court giving a judgement. So everything that I state about the Guru, I will give scriptural evidence with reference. If I do it the other way around, then people still going to come and ask, who is this person to author this? How authentic is it? So it's easy to run through a discourse without referencing, because sometimes referencing breaks the rhythm of the discourse itself. But I'm going to find a way to master that so that when I give a proclamation, I reference it as per scripture. So in this previous week, somebody was very, very upset on Guru Purnima why my feet was washed by a disciple. Absolutely upset. You can go on our TikTok, and this person's name is San, S-A-N-J-A, Sanja V-E-E, Sanja V. Chetty. No profile pick no other information. Is it a male or a female? Sanjavi Chetty. Male. It doesn't exist. Okay, so Sanja V. Chetty. Alright, so my legal team here did a search and they could not find this person, which means it's a fake profile, and our village idiot has many, many fake profiles. But I like the questions. This is what impelled me now to do a series of discourses which can be condensed into a comprehensive book. And if we all are diligent, I think we can launch it in October when this ashram is 10 years old, also on my birthday when I'm 61. I have two authors. I think we'll get professional people to do this. Gayshri Singh and if Aman Maharaj Singh. They are professional, they are authors. We will ask them if they can assist us in compiling. Thank you, Satish Bhai. in compiling. So this can be a handbook used for those who claim to be Sanatan Dharmis. And I'm very serious about this. In fact, so serious that I left a multi-million rand business to take the mission of my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. That's how serious I am about the Guru principle. I also sacrificed the life of my children and grandchildren. You saw my granddaughter sitting here just now on my shoulder, on my lap. It's because of the sacrifices that we made. Sometimes this is the only time to interact. There's so much to do in the sacrifices that we have made. So, in this seriousness, we're going to traverse the path of the Guru. So she writes here, he writes here, it has taken other gurus decades to reach your status. You did it in a very few years. You must be proud of yourself. You are worthy of the highest. Now this is in a sarcastic comment, because other comments to follow will explain why I am stating this. So last week we had an interfaith Guru Purnima, which is a world first, but we started this the previous year. An interfaith Guru Purnima, world first, which we started the previous year. And I stated that I became a Guru very late in life. Tony, you wasn't here last week? You was here last week? Okay, I stated I became a Guru very late in life. Satish Bhai, why I said that? And what example I gave, what explanation I gave? I was an atheist for many, many years. I remember I was 36 and I was still an atheist, Sean's age. I was 36 and I was still an atheist. Then I said that if you go to school in our time, Tony, in our time, and if you carry on failing, then they created, the government, apartheid government created a special class called a special class. Yes, you remember? So being an atheist for 25 years meant I continued to fail to understand who God is, yes? So because I failed for over 25, 26 years, I was in a special spiritual class. And when I was 51, at the age of 51, I passed spiritually. I became a bona fide disciple of the Supreme Lord. So God helped me in this decade. 10 years of preaching. 10 years of preaching, and preaching is a thankless task. And I had one devotee. He was a master, he was a poet. He was our tabla player as well, young boy. And as I'm discoursing, Himita, you remember? He could write a poem. And when I end my discourse, he could send it live. As I ended my discourse, in 2 or 3 minutes, that poem should be sent live. So he also followed, and I had a series, Preaching is a Thankless Task, and he had Preaching is a Thankless Task from number 1 to number 30 on his Facebook page, and he would tag us and send it through immediately. And when I conked his head, he forgot about his preaching is a thankless task, and he said, "Hey, this is a fake guru." You understand why we need this in writing, why we need people to learn the essence of the Guru principle. This is how bad it is in Sanatan Dharma. You don't get this in Islam, and you don't get this in Christianity. You don't find Christians attacking their pastors. Have you ever saw that anywhere? And you won't find Muslims attacking their Maulanas, because they have respect. Even if the Guru is fake, the Guru belongs in your system, yes? Even if the Guru is fake, belongs in your system, you don't have to go and attack that Guru without justification. So this comment came simply because Nilesh Bhai washed my feet on Guru Purnima. So I just want to bring this into context. Hemita, did you screenshot where he asked about washing of the feet?
He had asked whether we wash our parents' feet.
Okay, I can't read it here quickly, but you can, Jessica. Yes. So he wants to know, will my disciples learn anything by washing my feet? Will my disciples learn anything by washing my feet? Okay. And the person also asked whether I washed my parents' feet. Okay. So these are good questions, don't you think? Yeah, these are good questions, notwithstanding with what the background of asking these questions are. These are very relevant questions. It is very, very important not just to watch, because these are things that made me become an atheist. These are things where I couldn't understand Sanatan Dharma. It was so complicated that I became an atheist. But notwithstanding,
You said you cannot learn scriptures by washing your clean feet. Think about it.
okay. So,
You said,
okay, don't worry what I said. I want to say it comprehensively now. So what you can do is you can cut this, write that question, cut this, and we'll answer it on TikTok itself, all right? So the question is, Just read it out again.
The question was from this person was, we cannot learn scriptures by washing your clean feet. Think about this.
Okay. We cannot learn scriptures by washing your clean feet. Think about this. Now, I also spent many years in law. I told you on many occasions I love law, and I've never lost a case that I was associated in law, whether the law firm was even international. And similarly, scripture is law, it's God's law. Scripture is God's law. Like we have our constitutional law in South Africa currently. Okay? And whilst I'm here, Emita, talking about our constitutional law, I'd also like you to cut this snippet. It's important. I was very disheartened this week when the Constitutional Court of this country has now found out that the parole that former President Jacob Zuma was out on was unconstitutional, and that he must go back and serve his full term. Now let's look at this law now. Let's look at the law. No lawyers here today, Jessica? Okay. Let's look at this law. And who authorized the parole? Head of the parole board, and not former President Jacob Zuma's defense attorney. Just think along with me. It was by the parole board. Is the parole board an independent body in this country? Is it an independent body? It has mandate. It has mandate to award people parole. If that parole that was awarded was unconstitutional, who must pay the price? Who transgressed the law? Did former President Jacob Zuma transgress the law, or did the parole board transgress the constitutional law of this country? Head of parole board. Who must suffer the consequences? Is it fair now to use this judgment to put an 81-year-old man who is currently in Russia, who is ill, to suffer the consequences of an institution? Is it legal in the first place? No. Is it constitutional for Jacob Zuma to go into prison again because an independent authority took him out? You understand what I'm saying? So, Jessica, these are the ways we're going to oppose. We're going to get actively involved. I found the powers that be in opposing anything further happening to former President Jacob Zuma. And we're going to write to President Ramaphosa on behalf of this ashram, civil society, our interfaith. Have you all heard of presidential pardon? Yes. All of you heard of presidential pardon? Don't you think, in the context of what is happening in the country and the hundreds of thousands of ANC members caught with their hands in the cookie jar, don't you think that our former president, Jacob Zuma, deserves a presidential pardon? All of you understand? So we're going to get active. We're going to start our action. Remember what happened last year, July? Evil politicians use this and then there was racial tension, and 300 people died. But I have information that 300 people is just a drop in the ocean. There are thousands that died because of putting former president in prison. And the country and the politicians and the diplomats, everyone have to look at the interest of the citizens first before they make a decision of putting former President Jacob Zuma. Naturally, there is going to be unrest. The minute you detain him, the frustrations of people will flow into the streets. It's a natural thing. Everybody don't hate former President Jacob Zuma, including myself. I am here. I gave a discourse in 2001, leave former President Zuma alone. I'm stating again, leave former President Zuma alone. We know of all the good he has done. Yes or no? From the time he became a politician, do we know for sure, would evidence all the good that he has done in this country? Do we know? Yes. Say it loud, I want to hear you. Yes, we know the good he has done. Do we know the bad he has done, or there is only a perception of the bad that he has done? We don't know. There's only a perception of the bad that he has done. So let's use the good that he has done for this country. I would not be seated here today giving this discourse had it not been for former President Jacob Zuma. And neither of you would have been seated here today. He sacrificed his life to make this happen. And I am using that of all the positive that he has done, because I don't know. Nobody has shown us with evidence all his charges. There are 186 charges. It's there in a charge sheet, but nobody has shown us former President Zuma actually involved in those charges. And I'm in politics for a long time. And my former president from my political organization, Terra Lakota, he was the head of defense when all these allegations came through. Former president of our party, and Jessica was with me in that organization. And if nobody can touch the Minister of Defense, then how can the deputy president of that country be involved in scandalous in that which he is charged? All of you understand, and it is necessary that we discuss this in ashrams, we discuss this in mosques, we discuss this in churches, because we are the people that's going to be affected if anything unruly happens in this country again, if President Zuma is detained. Yes? So these are forums where we must be actively discussing these things. Indians generally like to discuss these things and give their best ideas at home after the fact. Indians don't like to go out in the front lines and get involved. They expect everything to land in their plate, but only voicing their opinions, not using their resources and getting involved. But I saw last year this change. In 2021, I saw Indians became active. They started protecting themselves, their properties, their families. And it was a proud moment to see Indians get active. And I want to use that impetus of activeness to continue now. We need to, as an Indian community, it does not matter whether you Muslim, you Christian, or you Hindu, to assist and let our Zulu brothers and sisters know that we are actively involved in the country and the consequences and everything that happened in this country. Sometimes you don't blame them because Indians are always absent in everything. So we need to show this brotherhood, this is oneness, this is social cohesion, and this is why we have had so many successful events in this ashram in terms of social cohesion. Okay, so I just want to get back to your question, Hemita, that you read. And I think before I answer the question scripturally, we need to understand the deities we worship. So you'll find somebody saying, I am a staunch Hanuman devotee. You'll get somebody saying, I am a staunch Lord Shiva devotee. And you'll get others saying, I'm a staunch Kali devotee. I'm a staunch Durga devotee. I'm a staunch Lakshmi devotee. I'm a staunch Vishnu. You heard people saying this in Sanatana Dharma? So if you are a staunch devotee of any of these entities I have mentioned or failed to mention, how do you relate your staunchness to your devotion? What must be that element of your staunchness? Let's take Lord Shiva, because I'm going to discuss him. If you say I'm a staunch Lord Shiva devotee, how many staunch Lord Shiva devotees present here? Put your hands up. Yeah, don't fright. Put your hands up, don't fright. Hemita, don't turn the camera on them. Let's understand staunch. What would you think staunch to mean?
Faithful?
Yeah, in what must be faithful? What? Should you know every aspect of Lord Shiva if you want to be a staunch devotee of his? You must know everything about it. You understand? I am staunchly supporting former President Jacob Zuma. Why? Because I know him. I know his credentials. I know all his actions. I know everything that has been done. That is why I can come sit here today. This broadcast is eventually going to reach 49 countries around the world. And although the perception out in those countries are former President Jacob Zuma is a gangster, is a thief, I am staunchly supporting him and will continue to staunchly support him until the drama is finished, because I don't have a perception, a staunch perception. I staunchly know the credentials. Do you understand? Similarly, if you're a staunch Lord Shiva devotee, you must know everything about Lord. Otherwise, you are not a staunch Lord Shiva devotee. You are a devotee in the periphery. You understand? You have to know everything about Lord Shiva. That's number one. Then you need to know all the scriptures pertaining to Lord Shiva. You need to know all the scriptures pertaining to Lord Shiva. In which Sanatan Dharmic scripture did he speak? Remember, Sanatan Dharma only got one author, Srila Veda Vyas. So you can't go wrong because of only having one author. Then you need to find out in which scripture Lord Shiva is dominant. Yes? And what the scriptures say about Lord Shiva, not what you say. You got no authority to say anything about Lord Shiva. What authority you got to say anything about Lord Shiva? Who must have authority to talk on Lord Shiva? The scriptures. the scriptures. No lawyer can talk about the constitutional court willy-nilly. If they want to talk about the constitutional court, how does that lawyer address anything about the constitutional court? No, through the constitution itself. First you have to take the constitution in your hand. When the constitution is in your hand, then you discuss the constitutional court and the constitutional court judges. If you do not have the constitutional in your hand and you make in any reference out of the constitution, has it got any validity? So if you say, I am a staunch Lord Shiva devotee, and you have no scriptural reference to Lord Shiva, you don't know who he is, you don't know where he comes from, and you don't know what his mandate is. Even the Supreme Lord has given himself mandate. Everyone has mandate to work within a certain parameter. All of you understand? So, Lord Shiva is depicted in the Shiv Puran. There are 18 Puranas. These Puranas are written by Lord, are spoken by Lord Brahma. 18 Puranas spoken by Lord Brahma. 6 Puranas are in Satagun. Satagun means all that really happened. 6 Purana is in Rajogun. This Lord Brahma spoke when he was in the mode of passion. When he was in the mode of passion, and there are 6 Puranas in Tamogun. These Puranas were spoken when he was in a mode of ignorance. When he was in the mode of ignorance. Then we have in each of the Rajogun and Tamogun Puranas, we have certain chapters which are in Satagun. Although the entire context is in Rajogun, we have certain chapters which is in Satagun. Alright? Little bit heavy, but we need to understand it like this. I'm going to break it down from next week into edible pieces of knowledge. So we have the Skand Puran. One of the 6 Puranas in Rajogun is the Skanda Purana. You can Google all what I'm saying, you can Google and verify. And in the Skanda Purana, there is a dialogue between Lord Shiva and his wife. There is a dialogue between Lord Shiva and his wife, and this dialogue gives birth. This dialogue gives birth to the Guru Gita. We have the Bhagavad Gita, which is a dialogue in the Mahabharata between Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna, and similarly we have a dialogue in the Skand Puran between Lord Shiva and his wife Parvati. And it starts like this. Parvati asks Lord Shiva, when he is prostrating early in the morning, she states that, Lord Shiva, you are the most powerful, the most glorious, the greatest. Whom can you be possibly prostrating to? And this gives birth to the Guru Gita. Who is Mother Parvati? What are other names she is known by? Durga, Kali. Durga and Kali and all other related mother forms in Rajogun. All other related forms in Rajogun. And I want you to understand the essence of what I am saying. It's absolutely important. Who is the hearer? Mother, Parvati, Kali or Durga, and the speaker, Lord Shiva. So we have Agama text and we have Nigama text. Agama means all that is spoken by Lord Shiva, and Nigama is all that is spoken by Mother Parvati or the Shakti energy. Alright? So he states, and I'm going to read a few verses from the Guru Gita. I suddenly found the Guru Gita this morning from my bookcase in the back. There's thousands of documents there. And I only looked just before satsang. And because we're discussing scriptural evidence, the Bhagavad Gita, you do not need to read it from verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 18, verse 68. Whatever troubles you in life, today, if each one of you go home, today, each one of you, even if you're a family, open the Bhagavad Gita randomly. Open it randomly and Lord Shri Krishna will answer your question. Today, I did this live I used to have a sealed Bhagavad Gita. I did this for a year. Every discourse I used to have a sealed Bhagavad Gita. I'll give an entire discourse like this and I'll ask anybody in the audience to open the plastic in the sealed Bhagavad Gita and I'll tell them to read the first verse on the left top. And the first verse should summarize the discourse that I gave on that day. And if you want to try the Guru, come with your sealed Bhagavad Gita. Come with your sealed Bhagavad Gita. You'll open it in the presence of this live. And you'll see on the left top, first verse will be the summary of the discourse that I gave on that day. I'm just connecting you to realities. So I want to answer this question about washing of the Guru's feet. Who is speaking the Guru Gita I stated just now? Lord Shiva. Alright? The water of the Guru's feet has the power to dry up mire of one's sins, to ignite the light knowledge. I want to underline the second one after the comma. To ignite the light knowledge and to take one smoothly across the ocean of worldly existence. Who is stating this? Under whose instructions was my feet washed? Under whose instructions? So you can't say I'm a staunch Lord Shiva devotee and deny the washing of the feet of the Guru. Then you are also against Lord. Anyone who denies the washing of the Guru's feet and claims to be a Lord Shiva devotee is a fake devotee. Are you understanding? Because this is not the Guru's instructions. I'm only a Guru for the past 10 years. Washing of the feet of the Guru is hundreds and million years old. All right? Now read the next verse. For the purpose of acquiring knowledge and dispassion, one should drink the water with which the Guru's feet are washed. All right? Which uproots the ignorance and the bondage of actions of innumerable past lives. But I tell these people to throw the water. I tell these people to throw the water. The kirtan of one's Guru's name becomes the kirtan of infinite Shiva. And the meditation of Guru's name becomes the meditation of infinite Shiva. So, this person that ridiculed through ignorance the washing of the feet of the Guru on social media has embarrassed himself in the public domain because of not having scriptural knowledge. I did not write this. This is written 5,000 years ago when Veda Vyas compiled all the Vedas. All right? Where else do you know the ceremony of feet washing has taken place? Which scripture? Before the Bible. In the Mahabharata, Lord Shri Krishna, who is the Supreme God Himself, showed this ceremony by example. By example, and He washed the feet of His disciple. He washed the feet of His Guru first, and He also washed the feet of His disciple, Sudama. So whenever God came down in the Ramayana, Lord Rama, when he came down as the Supreme Lord, he washed the feet of his Guru, Vasistha Muni. Who? God. If God got no problem washing the feet of his Guru, God always took on a Guru whenever he came to earth. He immediately as a child took on a Guru. Who? God Himself took on a Guru, washed the Guru's feet and drank the water of the Guru's feet to show that this system is absolute. It doesn't matter what you think. How many people in this universe today? How many people are in this universe today? 8 billion? 8 billion humans. Does the thinking of the 8 billion humans on this planet interfere with any of the cosmic functions of this world? So the thinking of humans does not negate the work that God has created. The sun still shines in the east, the wind still blows, evaporation still takes place, gravity continues to take place. Do you know how important the law of gravity is? It is holding everything in place, whether it is here on earth or whether it is in space. Gravity is holding everything in its position through orbiting. Everything orbits around each other, yes or no? Yes. Whether you believe, if you don't believe that gravity is holding everything in place, will one of the planets fall down? So nothing is relative to your thinking. If you want to believe, you believe. If you don't want to believe, don't believe. By you not believing, that does not mean the absolute truth exists through your belief. All of you understand? So this is the job of a guru. The job of a guru is to break down scriptural knowledge and feed it to you in palatable bites. And feed it to you in palatable bites. When you come to satsang, you take a palatable bite and your life will change. Who said your life will change? Lord Shiva. At the end, I only read 2 verses. It is Lord Shiva who sends you to the Guru. It is Lord Shiva, when your time is right, sends you to his Guru. So if you are a Mahakali devotee, or a Kali devotee, or a Durga devotee, must you have a Guru? Why? Because you are the first recipient of the knowledge of a Guru. And if you read the Devi Mahatmyan, which we do in Navratri, every verse there tells you to go and get spiritual. And you can't get spiritual without a Guru. You understand? So this is how important following a Guru is. How do you know following a Guru is absolute? How do you know? If you're a Sanatan Dharmi, how do you know that following a Guru is an absolute injunction? How would you know? No, you follow God. You follow God. Did God reincarnate? Yes. What was his first incarnation? Lord Ram. When he incarnated as Lord Ram, what did he do? When he was a child, he found a Guru and he followed a Guru. And if you read the Ramayana, Valmiki's Ramayana, every aspect of the Ramayana is about Guru-disciple relationship. Go into Valmiki's Ramayana and see how many times the word Guru is mentioned in the Ramayana. And I stated previously, I want to state again for the context of this discourse, everything that Lord Ram did, he did with his Guru first. When he was releasing the bow from his arrow for him to wed Mother Sita, whose help did he ask? And he is the Lord himself. Why? What was the purpose of the Ramayana? Why did God come down? What was the purpose of the Ramayana? To personally teach man how to live on this planet Earth. Yes? God incarnated to personally teach you how to live on this earth. The Ramayana is the constitution for humanity. The Ramayana is the first constitution for humanity. Then he came back again 5,000 years ago as Lord Shri Krishna, and the purpose of the Mahabharata is once again to show man how to live on this earth. It is a constitution for mankind. And then we have the 4 Vedas. The cream of the 4 Vedas is the Upanishads, and we have 108 Upanishads. The cream of the Upanishads is the Bhagavad Gita, of which there is only 700 verses. Bhagavad Gita only has 700 verses, and if you claim to be a Sanatan Dharmi, which is also colloquially known as Hinduism, then you have to start reading the Bhagavad Gita. If you're a Christian or you claim to be a Christian, you must have knowledge of the. If you claim to be a Muslim, you must have knowledge of the. If you claim to be a Jew, you must have knowledge of the. And if you claim to be a Hindu or Sanatan Dharmi, you must have knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, which is a summary of all the Vedas. Which is a summary of all the Vedas. All the Vedas combined have 545,000 verses. All the Vedas combined have 545,000 verses. The Bhagavad Gita has taken the essence of the 545,000 verses and it is condensed to simply 700 verses. And I said on many occasions, and I say it again, whoever has a wife, if you think 700 verses is very, very long, whoever has a wife, doesn't matter what time your wife gets up in the morning, but before you leave to work, more than 700 verses has escaped her mouth. Satish? Tony? The Guru will protect you, Satish. Guru will protect you. Tony, Guru will protect you. You in the ashram, speak the truth. So 700 verses is not hard because your wife speak it every morning before you go to work. In fact, about 40 or 50 verses she speaks whilst the eye is still opening. Yes? Before she's fully awake, there's 50 verses already there. Alright? And even Satish Bhai is fortunate. He works with his wife, he stays with his wife, he travels with his wife. Alright? Others, like Tony, even if he leaves his driveway, the verses are still pouring from the balcony. Alright? So this is what I'm trying to say, Rita. 700 verses to read in the Bhagavad Gita is not hard. It's not difficult. Don't read the Bhagavad Gita from cover to cover. Read it. Go today, open the Bhagavad Gita, any page, God will talk to you. Okay? So lastly, when these questions are asked, we need to also, these type of questions when they are asked on social media, and when other people are reading these questions, there is some doubt that enters their mind. So we use these satsangs. Gurus use these satsangs and create miracles in people's lives. These miracles and these testimonies from a bona fide satsang repels these accusations that are made timelessly. So just to wrap up, many of you were present here when Satish's sisters, somebody from Satish's sister's family is a prosecutor in Joburg, Satish. There was a prosecutor in Joburg, and I'm saying this live now to negate all that we are fronted with from time to time. Satish's sister's husband's nephew came down to Durban to have a spine operation. to have a spine operation at Westville Hospital. His booking was made. He was already diagnosed through medical science, the most advanced medical science. He is in full medical aid. He was brought to the ashram just for me to give him courage to go through the operation. Yes? Only for him to get courage to go to the operation tomorrow. He came here on the first day of Ram Navami, on Monday. On Tuesday, I was to bless him so that on Tuesday he goes and has the operation. I brought him down here during Aarti. I turned him around and I fixed his spine. Yes? Yes. Did he ever go for that operation? A scheduled operation by the most advanced, one of the most advanced hospitals in Durban, Westville. Spine operation, all ready to cut up number 3, 7 and 5 and replace and realign. We stopped it at the ashram. That man came for the whole Ram Navami. I think he missed a few days. But he stayed another week and then he went back to Joburg. He's alive. He's a prosecutor. He has credentials. He's a man who studied law. I'm not finding somebody from the road and making the story up. Yes, Jessica?
Yes, bro.
All right. This bhai as well, he was telling me, we won't put your face on. But this bhai himself, he was suffering from, for many weeks, with a headache. Yeah? Back. Okay, I'm a back specialist. All right? He was suffering with his back. He was on full medication, no relief. On his very first day, he parked his car in the bottom. As he walked up the driveway, his back pain disappeared. He used to struggle to sit in the car. He used to struggle to come out. How long you were suffering with that back pain? He's saying weeks and months. So these are the potencies we have for all those demonic people that accuse us. And we have to say, this is why in churches people come out and give testimonies. When you give testimonies, this is not egotistical testimony. This testimony verifies that the Supreme Lord is present in the ashram, and these miracles is an everyday thing for the Supreme Lord. For us it is miracle, for this bhai it is a miracle, but for the Supreme Lord it is an everyday thing. He can manipulate anything in this universe, provided you give your heart to Him. He must know you, and you can't lie, I am giving my heart to the Supreme Lord, Dana. You can't. You can't wear a nice dhoti, copy your guru, keep a beard, put a big tilak on your head. You can't lie to the Supreme Lord, because He's not outside, He's not in Vaikunth, He's not in all these things. Oh, He is. He's residing inside your soul. He's residing inside your own soul, and He knows everything that you do and you don't do. He knows everything that you do and you don't do. Like when Avir Bhai ate chicken and came to ashram, Lord Narayan told me there's chicken thighs swimming in his belly. Avir Bhai, what Lord Narayan told me? He even specified the part of the chicken that was in his stomach. All right, as he walked in here, Lord Narayan said, Guru, Avir Bhai this Saturday ate chicken and came to ashram. Avir? Okay. All right. So this is the science of spirituality. Allow your mind to accept this science. Look at me, I wasted over 25 years as an atheist fighting with God. Why you want to do that? Why you want to waste time? I sacrificed, I lost, I got divorced, lots of bad things happened to me because I was fighting the Lord. You don't have to do that. You don't have to lose anything. And I'm not saying follow me. I'm saying follow the Supreme Lord. I'm just your GPS. You all know what GPS stands for? Guru, God, Positioning System. Guru, God, Positioning System. I'm just a GPS. In your car, that lady is talking. In the ashram, this man is talking. I'm doing the same job. I'm directing you to the Supreme Lord. He has so much to give you. He has so much to give you. The only problem is you not turning to Him directly. Only problem is you are not turning to Him directly. He is ever there. He is ever in your soul. When this body sleeps, the Supreme Lord is still awake. All the dreams that you have, every dream you had in your life has been edited by the Supreme Lord who resides in your soul. Every dream that you have, the editor is the Supreme Lord. How you know it is not your soul that is the editor and it is the Supreme Lord that is the editor? How do you know that? How can we find out? Have you ever had nightmares that you are running for your life? You had nightmares and you are so grateful that your sleep broke and you realized, it was only a dream. Now, if you, the soul, will you create such a nightmare for yourself? No. So it has to be the Supreme Lord. Every dream that you have, the editor is the Supreme Lord. Everything that you do, every motion that you take, the energy is the Supreme Lord. He is not far away. Just turn to Him inside. Just turn to Him inside. But you have to come to satsang. You have to understand Him. When you go home, reflect on what the Guru has said. My Guruji, his prescription he gave is that if the satsang was for 1 hour, you must go home and discuss between 1 and 4 hours as a family all the different points that the Guru made in his satsang. I'm also on YouTube. I don't know, I keep my technicians don't want to tell me how many videos are on YouTube, but there's hundreds. And like how you're going to open the Bhagavad Gita randomly, go on YouTube, go randomly, just find one video and it will answer your question. We need to move away from thinking there is no solution. We need to move, no matter how grave the situation is, always believe that the Supreme Lord will solve it. We must never ever allow depression to kick into our lives. You must boot depression out with the name of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, because in depression we lose our sanity. So this is why, and I've stated from the first satsang, this is what I said. Come to a few satsangs to the ashram. If nothing has changed in your life in that few satsangs, don't waste time coming, because I'm a realist. I want you to come to satsang, and whatever I say my satsang can offer you, I must be able to offer you tangibly. This is not a casino where you put your coins hoping to get everything in a row. This is not that type of a satsang. From day one when you come here, and if you got faith, and if you put the instructions that I'm giving you first, your life must change as you live in this driveway. As you're going up the driveway, your life must change. And it must be a tangible change. You must feel it inside your soul tonight. You must sleep like a baby. Every Sunday night when you come to satsang, Satish, no matter how much Jessica can pa, I got a special lock for a mouth on Sundays. From here I lock the mouth. Sunday should be your most peaceful day of any day. Or even if she talk, I cut down the frequency of the voice. You'll only see her mouth. All right? Tony, you too. Tony is in deep problems, Satish. He is seated next to you. Talk to him. Tell him how. Give him hope, Satish bhai. Give him hope. Okay? We're going to conclude this service with Aarti. And once again, just keep the faith. If it doesn't happen today, it's going to happen tomorrow. But it's definitely going to happen. It must happen. That is why I don't bring a huge following. I have potency. If I could cure a man's spine without him going to hospital, and if I advertise this on a pamphlet, like sometimes I take some on the freeway or at Robos, I find pamphlets, 100 Rand, you can get your lost lover back. You all saw those pamphlets? Right? Imagine I have to advertise with those pamphlets. How full you think this venue will be? You will still be parked there at the bottom of Varsity Drive trying to get up here. Right? 100 Rand, get your lost lover back. You understand? So that is why I have constrained. I keep the disciples or devotees or aspirants few, so I can give you one-on-one and personal attention and make sure that I fix up whatever is troubling your life. And this we can say on a live. I can say this on a live. These miracles, whatever has happened here, Jessica and Satish bhai, during COVID, the big son sent me a message. I can't take this anymore, Guru. I can't handle it anymore. My mom and dad, I can't see them like this. After 22 days, I brought them to the ashram, I took them to the Goshala. In 3 days they were fit. In 3 days they were fit. But I wanted them to go through that medical, so they got a story to say. I wanted medical to fail, otherwise they would have still been confused. They wouldn't have known whether medical science saves them or God saved them. All right? So they are testimonies. There's many testimonies here, many that are in this ashram at this moment. But we don't want to go through all of them. But just again, we need to establish who we are consistently in this world and in all other worlds. Jai Shriman Narayan.